Alright, procedural awareness here in Madden. This is after the second patch, obviously. And to reiterate my point to those of you who did not watch my All-Pro Football video on this, that's posted directly behind this video, this is a video that's dedicated to procedural awareness, talking about it, showing it, and essentially this was one of the first things Ian Cummings brought up that he wanted to implement in Madden 10. He brought up a story about a defensive back batting down a pass with his back turned, and how he wanted to ensure that didn't happen again, and his way of doing that was eye tracking. And essentially what it does is allows, without canned animations, players to visually interact with each other. And he talked about how useful this would be in terms of a quarterback going through his progression, in terms of a wide receiver and defensive back jostling, in terms of a halfback visually interacting with the people he was being engaged with to tackle him, and obviously with fullbacks and tight ends in terms of blocking. So again, we'll show here how Madden replicates procedural awareness in this game. And again, this is something they talked about 6 months before the game came out as a new technology that was being implemented that was superior to what they had before with the IK tracking system, and this was going to add, a whole new level of realism to the game with this procedural awareness. And again, I'll post a link to that blog and video in the side panel here. So here's what we've got. Exact same play that I ran in All-Pro Football. You can see a guy here gets the ball, and we'll follow his head movement there. Sorry, a little rusty on these controls. But you can see a guy gets the ball, and then you can see he does start to visually look at other players, but then his head sort of locks as he runs. You can see he starts to look off. LaRon Landry's coming into the play, but definitely not the fluidness or the specificness that you see in All-Pro Football. And speaking of LaRon Landry, let's go ahead and go over to him, and we'll compare him to Mark Smith as he sees this run out of the backfield. So there you can see he stands up, he's looking in the backfield. Now his head and whole body turn backwards, and he stares pretty much off into nothing here. A dive, just for visual references, back there. So LaRon Landry ends up looking really just toward the sideline, and only now, still even then, it's very questionable where he's looking. It looks as if he's looking straight out to where he's going to go, as opposed to where he's going. You can see it. I run out of bounds to prevent this play from occurring, but you can see just how jerky this is when you play it at speed, when you look at how these players pursue. Probably should have done that in speed in All-Pro Football. Now, I really don't think anybody gets blocked in this play, but we will go to London Fletcher here and watch his procedural awareness as a middle linebacker. You can see he backs up, he keeps his eyes pretty much on the play, and then again begins to start to look off into nowhere. Starts to do a spin. Now he's actually visually looked past Joseph Adai, and again just starts to not look at the ball carrier, but rather look off at the sidelines. You don't see that specific helmet angle toward the ball carrier. And I realize this is something just in terms of realism that it adds to the game, but it really does, if you go back and look at the All-Pro Football video, add a lot of depth and realism visually in terms of what's going on the field, and allows you to go back and look at plays and really have a better understanding of why plays succeed or fail based on how you see players interacting visually with the game.